Today we're unboxing the Elegoo Saturn 3D resin printer. You saw our unboxing of the Elegoo Mars 3 resin printer. We've been actually using a lot, printing a lot of different things, and we've been super happy with it. We figured we would go to a bigger size resin 3D printer. So let's open this up and see what it comes with. It does have a very similar design to the Mars 3. So this is just has a much bigger plate, much bigger vat, so you can do a lot bigger prints itself. So let's open this up, and then we're going to just sort of look at a size comparison between the two. Okay, so this thing is pretty well packed, as we saw even from our Mars. So let's just get rid of some of this packing. Okay, so as you can see, this is a relatively large printer in comparison to the Mars 3. So let's get the plastic off it. So we have the bulk of it unpacked. Here is the build plate, which I can tell you is relatively large in comparison to the Mars 3. We see here our vat, same thing. The vat is a relatively large size. I can tell you that right off the bat, that this is much bigger. So it will definitely be interesting to see how much resin we could get in here and how much we can actually build with this. But let's just look at a comparison between the Saturn's build plate and actually the Mars 3. So let's just take the shroud off, and you can even see the size of the shrouds, right? The difference. So if we take our build plate off from the Mars 3, and this is the bigger one. So the Mars 2 actually has a slightly smaller build plate. Now you can see actually the size comparison. I mean, it's almost the same as the width of this build plate, or I should say the height of this the length of this build plate. But you can actually see there's quite a big difference in between the size of the models you could build off this. And same thing, we could see if we look at the vat size. Just unscrew this, take our thumb screws out. We can see here is the vat size of our Mars 3, and here is the vat size. Let me see if I can lean this forward a little bit, but here's the vat size of the Saturn. So we're gonna get this thing put together. We're gonna start throwing some prints out and see what it looks like. Oh, one more thing. Let's look at the toolbox before we do anything. Let's move our vat over here because we don't want to inadvertently rip our film. Just screw it back on, make it secure. Just move our build plate. And very similar mechanisms. We see the build plate has this sort of joint, goes on there, and it locks right in. Let's see what comes in this toolkit. So obviously we have our power supply, which was interestingly undone. We have our filters. We have our tools for the unit itself. We have our little clippers. We have our power supply and thumb drive. We have our plastic scraper. We have our metal scraper for getting it off the build plate. We have some gloves. We have some masks. And we have our instructions and setup guides. So we're gonna take a look. We're gonna put this thing together. We're gonna throw some prints on it and start doing some comparisons, maybe between the Saturn and the Mars 3.